see it. Father, thank you for your word. Thank you for the insights that we get from it for our everyday life. I ask you to allow the thoughts, the experiences to reach inside and be a benefit to all of us that will hear or even think about what's being said, especially those of us that know the information that's being given came from a reliable source. We ask these things in the blessed name of your holy child, Yahshua, who we call Jesus. Now, about 4 days ago, maybe even five, I had an uncle call me. He said, I got a question. I said, okay. I don't, really, I don't know if I'm gonna have an answer or not, but he asked me one question, and he says, what does the scripture mean when it says, I will bless the Lord at all times, and his praise shall continually be in my mouth? Now, I was driving and I thought about the passage, thought about what it says, and I considered the source of who was saying it. And as I thought about it, I said, this is some this is some pretty deep stuff. So I want to share that because I really felt like that was something that I should address. Not just because he asked it, but because of what it caused me to have to do to be able to, as I drive, think about what is this passage? What's really going on here? So let me go ahead and set this up to share my screen. And as soon as I share my screen, we'll go ahead and start. Okay. My share button was different right there. That's what I was doing. And it's not letting me share. Let's do it again. I'm having an issue with sharing my screen. There is share. How far do I have to go down to share? Gary, tell me if you can see my screen now. I think I
Yes,
should.
I see it. I see it.
Okay. So because of what I went through in looking at it, the question came to my mind, why do we often pretend that we don't judge Yahweh God, Yah God, the Creator, the Almighty? Do we think that He doesn't know that we judge Him as unrighteous by our actions? Now, this is working in a framework of the question that I was asked. The question that I was asked was, what does this verse right here mean? Psalm 34 and 1. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. But then it says, my soul shall make her boast in the Lord, and the humble shall hear thereof and be glad. In order to understand this passage, I need you to look at one thing. In the title of this psalm, which is actually a part of the scripture, it says a psalm of David. when he changed his behavior before Abimelech, who drove him away, and he departed. This was during a time when David was driven out of his homeland, out of the blessed city. And when I say the blessed city, this was the place that the Most High God had set up for the children of Israel to receive blessing. And there were many benefits there because the Most High God was doing blessings and he was allowing sacrifices and atonement of sins to be taking place there. Let me roll you back to this man, David. Who is this David? Why does this David have so much that he can say? He gonna bless the Lord at all times. His praise will continually be in his mouth. Well, go back with me to the time that we finally meet David in the scriptures. When we meet David in the scriptures, there's a king on the throne by the name of Saul, a tall man, a good-looking man, strong man, a Benjamite, one of those that of a tribe that were able to fight by slinging stones with a sling. One of those that had almost been wiped off the face of the earth because of some wickedness that happened in Judges chapter 19. But Israel had determined we want a king like other nations. We don't want the Most High God ruling us like he once did. We really want things set up like every other earthly nation that we see. They look powerful, they look strong. They have men that are kings that are really supposed to be called sons of God. They're like the father of the countries and they look good. We want to be able to have a influence in front of us. We want a celebrity king. We want one that can fight, and we can put our confidence in this person as opposed to the Most High God picking up somebody here, a young lad Samuel here, picking up somebody like Gideon somewhere else that was scared, picking up one that's called a bastard like Jephthah. Had done when you read the book of Judges, we want somebody that looks the part. But this man named Saul, he wasn't faithful. Saul was commissioned to defeat an oppressive nation that had attacked them when they were coming out of Egypt. That nation was Amalek. And Yah God Most High told Saul, it's time now. It's been a few hundred years since the Exodus, but I said I wouldn't forget. Now I need you to go execute judgment since I run the world. The world is mine. I can use whomever I want to and conscript them to be in my army. Israel, I've made you holy. I've made you a royal priesthood. You're my sons. I need them exterminated. Saul was going to go do the job. At least that's what the scripture was saying he was going to do. And Saul did not want to wait till the blessing came from the prophet Samuel, whom the Most High God taken when he was a lad. He didn't look like a tall person like all the other people. So they go and they fight. And everything was supposed to be a word that's called karim. In other words, we don't want you to take anything from that nation, not their animals. We don't want you to take their cattle. We don't want you to take any of them alive. I want to show a picture of what my ultimate justice and judgment is. So Saul goes in and he sees the prophet Samuel come, that the Lord had sent him to do the job. And Samuel asked him, have you done the Lord's work? He said, I have. I've done it. I've done what needed to be done. But Samuel heard sheep. He heard cows. And Samuel said, why am I hearing all of this noise? Why I'm hearing noises. I know what animal makes. I know what animals go. I hear this. And he said, the people did this. The people decided to do this, and we're going to make a sacrifice to the Lord. And yet that Saul was the same one at one time that told the people, when we go to war, if you don't go, you see these animals that I've cut up and sent to every tribe, that's the way it's going to be for each one of you all that don't come up to war. Now, for him to act like he was afraid, that was kind of different. And so the Most High God was going to replace Saul with David as the king. The reason I bring this up, David said, I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall be continually in my mouth. So I started out by showing you that Israel, the kingdom, the nation, they decided they wanted someone else to rule them other than the Most High God. And now Saul is being rejected, and Samuel, the prophet, had been praying and asking God to forgive and to help and all of this. And the Most High God said, why you keep praying to me? Get up. Yes, Saul is anointed. Yes, Saul has been chosen. Yes, the oil has been on him, and he's had some victories, but I've rejected him. He's rejected. And since he's rejected, I've gotten someone else to replace him. Now go to the house of Jesse, and out of his sons, I'm going to let you select one of them, and I'm going to tell you which one it is to select. So he gets ready to go, and he says, but Saul will want to kill me. Tell him you're going to do a feast. So you're going to go there, you're going to have a feast, and what you're going to do is you're going to select me someone to take his place. When he gets there, he goes through, this man has 8 children. He goes through all 7 that were in the house. The father knows what he's doing, and yet he does not think enough of David to bring David in the house. Now remember, David said, I will bless the Lord at all times, and his praise shall continually be in my mouth. Now they were going to sit down and eat. The prophet Samuel has seen this tall son, the good, look what it said. I see this is the one that the Lord has chosen. Oh, this is the one. I think this one named Eliab. You can go to 1 Samuel chapter 15 and 16 and read it for yourself, but I'm pretty sure it's 16. And the Most High has to tell him, the Most High doesn't see as man sees. Man looks on the outer appearance, but Yah God looks on the heart. So he was rejected. So the father wants him to go ahead and just sit down and eat. Let's just go ahead and eat anyway. And you can just get one. And he says, is there another child? Yeah, there's David. David's out there. He's out there with the sheep. I don't really think enough of him to bring him in here. Surely God wouldn't want him. He's out there. He's going to smell like outdoors. He's going to be smelling like sheep. He's been out there. David said, we're not going to sit down and eat anything till he comes. When he comes in, the Most High God makes Samuel know that this is the one, and he poured the oil, and it poured on him. And David was anointed to be king. Now understand what the life was like for David to be out there. For David to be out there, it was like this. Rain, cold, whatever, you're out there with the sheep. The sheep don't just walk around and take baths. I'm sure there are all kind of parasites and things that would be out there. And there are certain things called flies that are eye flies. They like to eat they like to get the moisture out of the eyes of animals. But often things would happen. And one time David even said that a lion grabbed one of my sheep, and I grabbed him by the beard, and I smote him. I killed him, trying to take my sheep. One time a bear took one of my sheep, and I killed him. But David says, I will bless the Lord at all times, and his praise shall continually be in my mouth. Understand the mindset of the person that's saying this is, I know what it's like to be overlooked. I know what it's like to be overlooked and underestimated, even when I don't know it. When I find out what was going on, I realize nobody in my family saw anything special in me. But who saw it? The Most High. He selected. I will bless him, he said, at all times. Your own family members may not see it. Then one time they were going out, and a war was going to take place, and a giant called Goliath. He would come up for about 40 days, and he would taunt Israel. Send me out a man, send me out a man. If you can defeat me, then we'll be subject. But if I defeat the man that you send out, you are going to be subject unto me and whatever we do to you. But David's daddy had sent him out. Yes, David has been anointed. Yes, David has been chosen. But he's still out there with the sheep. He doesn't look any different. He's not really treated any differently. So his daddy sent him on the mission, and he goes out to where his brothers are, out there where they're gonna have the war. And I think he brought him maybe some cheese, and I know he brought him some food. I want to say crackers, but even he brought him some bread. He brought him what we would normally call a snack, something to eat. Must have been a lot of it. And this giant is coming up taunting, and he says, I'm gonna destroy you all. I'm gonna beat you all. I'm gonna beat you down, and I'm gonna give you all to the beast of the field and the fowl of the air. Just send me out a man. And David wonder, what's this mess I hear? Who is this uncircumcised Philistine talking this kind of smack, this kind of trash? What did you know what the king said? Whoever will fight him, if he defeat him, he'd give him his daughter to be his wife and make the father's house free. Imagine no more tribute, no more taxes. And David mentioned that, and the brothers say, I know your mischief. I know your mischief. I know you are mischievous. I know you meddling stuff. You ain't got no business. I know you get out of pocket. And David says, is there not a cause? What have I done? Why aren't you backed up with those few little sheep? In other words, get back in your place. But I will bless the Lord at all times. My brothers still don't see anything in me, and I've already been anointed. I've already been chosen. I got the blessing of the prophet Samuel, which means I got the blessing of Yahweh God on me, and I don't really look no different. And guess what the king is while all this is going on? Sitting under a tree, afraid to go out there. Yet that's what the people wanted. Well, David hears this and he gets upset. He goes to the king. He said, I'll fight him. And the king said, you but a youth, you're just young. You don't even know how to fight. You don't look like a fighter. You don't have great big muscles. You don't have a reputation of fighting. And this man has been fighting since his youth. And let me tell you something he didn't tell him. He got armor that he can put on. made out of metal, and he has an armor bearer. You have nothing. David said, but I'll go. And the king is willing and gave him his clothes to go out there to fight a giant that he wouldn't fight. David said, I will bless the Lord at all times, and his praise could continually be in my mouth. And the king is discouraging and finally relents. But it's like, I don't think you're going to do it. And it's almost as if we've determined whatever we have to suffer under the hand of the Philistines, we'll do it. He takes Saul's clothes to put them on, and he realizes, I can't wear this. It's too big. I'm not used to this. It's like I can't move like I used to move. And the king says to him, you're just not able. And David, let me tell you something. I was keeping my daddy's sheep one time, and a lion grabbed one of my sheep, one of my daddy's sheep, when I was on duty. And I grabbed that lion by the beard, and I smote him, killed him. And a bear got one of mine one time, and I killed the bear. Now, this uncircumcised Philistine will be no different because of the fact the Most High God gave me those victories. So when he goes out there, the Philistine looks at him, and then he underestimates him. Y'all send the boy at me. You sending the boy, be like you sending the boy to find your dog that you lost. You sending a boy. How dare you insult me like that? And he looks at him. I'm going to feed your carcass to the beasts of the field. You're going to be beast dung, whether it's dog, hyena, or whatever. And to the fowl of the air, you're going to be bird squeeze. I'm going to leave your carcass out there and do that. And David said, you come at me with sword, and you come at me with shield. But I come to you in the name of the living God, whom you have defied with your big uncircumcised lips. I'm magnifying the name of the Lord. You come at me like that, and I know the history of what my God has done. And I already got a background of what he's going to do for me. And David went and picked up 5 smooth stones that looked like nothing in comparison to Goliath's sword, as well as his spear and all the armor that he has. And David picked up those 5 smooth stones, and David ran toward the giant. And he slung that. I don't know if he did it round and round and round. You go that way or over the head, whichever way. And he took it and he threw that when he was running at the giant and hit him in the head, and the giant fell on the ground. David got on top of him and cut his head off, killed him, cut his head off, fed his body to the beasts of the field and the fowls of the air. And he brought the head back to Saul, brought the sword back where they were all living. And the women start singing and dancing. And they said, Saul has slain his thousands, but David his 10,000s. Now this anointed, chosen King Saul that's on the throne is wanting to kill this anointed, chosen person to be King David, who's not on the throne. And he says, what more can David have except my throne? Now David is the one that says, I will bless the Lord at all times, and his praise shall continually be in my mouth. Yes, it's easy to praise him when he anoints you to be king, but your brothers treat you the same way. He anoints you to be king, but the king don't think that much of you. Now you killed the giant, And God is giving you victory. And now the king, the representation of the government, the executioner of the justice of God or the injustice of man, that because he's got the position of being the one that administers justice or execution. Now he wants to kill you. And for years, David has to run. He tries to go in David's house. Why does he try to go into David's house? Because he has messed around and gave his daughter to David to marry. He said, "Yeah, I tell you, I'm gonna get rid of David. I'm gonna send him to war. And if he can bring me back 100 foreskins, that means the skin of the foreskin of a man's penis. That means you really killed him. A man's not gonna just stand still and say, okay, circumcise us and we won't have to die." David brought back 200. Oh, Saul's scared now. God's with him. I got to kill him. So he gives his daughter to be his wife. Saul wants to kill David, and he gonna sneak in the house at night and get him killed. But David finds out about it, and he tricks Saul, have something laying in the bed, look like it's him, and it's not. He doesn't get to kill him. Saul chases David throughout the countryside, chases him in the caves, chases him, tries to kill him, tells his son that you make David your friend, Jonathan, you made him your friend, and that's to your own hurt. You are a son of a perverse woman. I'm going to insult you to make you hate David. But David said, I'm going to bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. Saul goes into the cave to take a dump. Some people don't know what a dump is. Let's say to poop, to do a number two. And he doesn't see David hiding in the cave. And David doesn't kill him. And when the man goes to sleep, Saul goes to sleep one time. David sees him sleep with his armor bare, and y'all God has put such a sleep on Saul. David goes up and cut piece of his garment off and take the cruse of water that he used to drink and let him know, I could have killed you. And the king said, you're righteous and I'm not. But he still wants to kill David. So David runs. He wants to get away from Saul. Saul goes to, or David goes to Nob, a place where a priest is. I believe it's Abiathar. It's not Abiathar. It might be a high tube. It's one of the priests of the Most High, and tells him, man, I'm on a business from the king. You got any bread? You got any food? He got a little bit of bread that had now been considered common. He said, do you have a sword or any kind of weapon? The only weapon I got here is the sword of Goliath. Oh, that'll work. Saul finds out about it. Uh, look, somebody from another kin person, but they are another nation, tells it his name is Doeg. Saul finds out that he got that, and he tells the people to kill the priest of God. They won't do it. So Doeg kills 85, and David finds out about it. And David takes one of the priests, I think it's a Ahitub, and saves him. Now, David has seen these people put to death. David has seen his life be in peril. And yet he still writes this song. I will bless the Lord at all times, and his praise shall be in my mouth. David is on the run. And David goes to another enemy, the Philistines. And when David goes there, he's going to join himself, pretend like he's going to be with Achish. And David, in the daytime, he goes out and fights against the Philistines. Achish don't know it. But then some of the people say, why would you trust this man? Why? Don't you remember the song that the women were singing? Saul has killed his thousands, David his 10,000. Don't you remember what happened to Goliath? And David realizes they know. But God has put me in this position. Why? Why have I had to leave the holy land? The land that God has set apart. I'm running. I've done nothing wrong, but I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. But all these things seeming like they're against me. So David started letting the spit run down his beard. And so scratching at the wall, acting crazy. And the king said, why you got this madman here? And they let David leave. And many other such like things happened to David. So as I was talking to my uncle, I said, when you hear David say, I will bless the Lord at all times, his praise shall continually be in my mouth. He's not just talking like regular people talk. David has been hunted down by the government. When I say the government, when you say the king has people, he has soldiers. They were hunting David. You had his brothers that were talking down. You had his fathers that didn't look up to him. You had Doeg, an Edomite, was going against him. And it looks like the Most High God's not being faithful. It looks like God Most High, you anointed me and brought all this trouble on me. And this is what I'm going through. How can I really bless the Lord with these things going on? It has to be an elevation of the mind to trust him no matter what I see. I got to be able to trust him no matter what I'm going through. Especially I didn't bring it on myself. I got to trust him. I'm afraid, but I got to trust him. I'm afraid. I'm going to trust him. I'm going to lose social standing, but I'm going to trust him. I've lost my brothers to a great extent. The government is against me, but I got to stand strong. Because if I don't stand strong and I show that I don't trust him, that means I've judged him unfaithful. So I bless him. I bless him for who he is. I don't see what's going on. I don't really see him making me because I don't see the end of the thing. I just see what I'm going through. I don't see where he's getting ready to put me or set me or lift me up. And I wouldn't have chosen this for myself. But I'm going to bless him. Now, does that mean every time David was going through, he was seeing that? No. But what he did see is God was faithful. He had been faithful to Abraham. He had been faithful to Isaac. He had been faithful to Jacob. He had been faithful even to his ancestors because of the fact, when you get to the book of Ruth, you'll see where David comes from. Get a chance to see that David comes from a woman that was a Moabite. And all these things come together, and God has been working. Eventually, David gets to be on the throne, and he gets peace through the wars that he have. Then one day, there's a war going on, and David is on the top of the house, and he sees this woman bathing. She's off of her cycle. She's bathing, making sure everything fresh and clean, and he's looking. He's looking. And his heart is set upon her. And David inquires, takes the woman for himself, uses her. Is he blessing the Lord then? Oh, heck to the no. Then realize the woman is married to this Canaanite, this black man, and he sends him closer to the war so he can be killed, and other people die. And David now takes her and marries her and has a child by her. And David has done something that he should be put to death for. He took a man's wife. And the Most High God sends a prophet to him named Nathan in 2 Samuel chapter 12. And he tells him a story about a man that had a little lamb, one little lamb that he loved so much, and a rich stranger that had many. He took that man's little lamb that he had raised like a daughter, took it, killed it, and ate it himself. And David said, that man should be put to death and pay back 4 times that lamb. Whereas that was not even the judgment. The Most High God's righteous judgment would have been at the most lamb for lamb, add one. And in certain circumstances, you will do 4 for 1. Not the death penalty. Prophet Nathan said, David, you're the man. Lust came to your house, and you had wives, and you took this man's wife, and you killed him. You read in 51st Psalm where David said, against you, and you only have I sinned and done this wickedness in your sight. I'm confessing my sins so that you'll be justified when you judge. Not that you'll be justified because I said, but in the eyes of the people. But during this time, the Most High God heard David's prayer when David did stuff that was wicked. And David threw himself at the mercy of the Most High God. There's no one that could stand between him and his justice. He threw himself at his mercy. He had gone through Psalm 32 where it was tearing him up on the inside. And the Lord forgave him. He said, but you're going to have consequences. The sword will never leave your home. And what you did when you took that man's wife, you did it in secret. I'm going to do what I do to you openly. And David says, I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. I've messed up royally. I deserve death, but he let me live. Yes, the sword not going to leave my home. My children going to suffer. But we can still have the Most High's protection. We can still have the Most High guiding and leading us. Although I've done dirt, he can restore me. He can restore my soul. He can lead me in the path of righteousness. He can restore the soul of my children. It can never be undone that my daughter was raped. It can never be undone that my wives were raped. I've done wretchedly. The justice of the Most High God is determined by him. And I realize all the animal sacrifices that ever would have been would have never been able to restore, would have never been able to get me his mercy. I realized that he he never wanted just animal sacrifices. He wanted a humble and a contrite spirit. And I had left that, and he still allowed me to live. Although I'm going through things, he could have cut me off. I will bless the Lord. I will bless the Lord. In other words, my uncle asked me, how can we bless God? In other words, Baruch, we can speak highly of him. We can speak praise to his name. Whereas the wicked, they make their mind up, I will curse the Lord at all times. His slander shall always be in my mouth. And the wicked that are like me, they'll be glad, but the righteous will be grieved. David went through all those things that he had done. But one thing that David had learned that I want to show you before I close out. Let me go back and share this page. There's something I want you to see. I want you to see something that David went through. I told it to share, but it's not being my friend. Click. I'll try it again. Hallelujah. I want you to see something. All of these things that happened to David, I want you to see two things. Psalms 34 and 1, the first thing I talked about, and I showed you what was going on with Achish. I want you to see something here in Psalms 34 and 11. David makes a statement in Psalms 34. He says, "Come, ye children, hearken unto me. I'm king. I'm like the father of this nation. Come, ye children, hearken unto me, and I will teach you the fear of Yahweh." I'm going to teach you based on what I know about him before I ever do my mess. But when I go through things, it's just as hard. When I go through things and I'm mistreated, when I'm a fugitive, when I run, when I'm slandered, when people call me and say that the king is out to get you and we can't help you, and not only can we not help you, we know you stupid, we know you that kind of person, and people are willing to kill me. I'm going to teach you the fear of Yah God so you can know how to bless him. Where did David get this from? Experience. And let me show you something that happened. In 1 Samuel chapter 30, I want you to see something. I want you to see that when we get to the place that we see the Most High God as he is and we know how to bless him, I want you to see you can be in the position that the very things that the Most High God take us through and use to mold us and to build us up that we don't understand and we feel like he's being not being fair. Because it's like, I've served you. I don't know why I got to be mistreated. Why didn't you come and deliver me? Look at what the Bible says. The Bible says in 1 Samuel chapter 30, verse 31, it says, "And it came to pass when David and his men would come to Ziklag on the third day that the Amalekites, the ones that Saul didn't kill, the reason he was rejected, they had invaded the south in Ziklag and smitten Ziklag. They burnt it with fire and had taken the women captive therein, and they slew not any great or small, but carried away and went on their way. The men of the Amalekite, they burnt the city, and they look at what they did. They took their women captive. They didn't kill them. They didn't kill anybody great or small. So David and his men came to the city. Behold, it was burnt. They were in Ziklag as fugitives, the men that were with David, and they come and found out the place. And now we're going to humiliate you all and make you even more subjugated. They took their wives, their sons, and their daughters. They took them captive. And David and the people that were with him lift up their voice and wept till they had no more power to weep. How is it that you can say, "I'm going to bless the Lord at all time"? And his praise shall be in your mouth when your wife has been kidnapped, your children have been kidnapped, and everything you got's been burned. Imagine going home and your house is burned and your wife and children gone. Often we get to see these things afterwards, and God is allowing us to see how he's worked in the lives of other people so that we can see it. Now, all the men that were with David, they're crying. I'm going to show you in a minute how many they were with him. It says, and David's two wives were taken captive. Ahinoam, the Jezreelitess, and Abigail, the wife of Nabal the Carmelite. But if you hadn't read the Bible, you don't realize Nabal had died. But here's the woman that stood up and kept David from doing maliciousness. And David was greatly distressed. I need you to understand, this is the same man that's distressed. It's not like I go through these things. I know God's working it out and I don't feel nothing. For all the people spake of stoning him. We're going to talk about what kind of people that were. Because the soul of the people grieved in every man for his sons and for his daughters. But David encouraged himself in the Lord his God. David has something he can look back on. David can remember he was anointed. David can remember the bear. David can remember the lion. David could remember the king that had tried to kill him, David encouraged himself in the Lord. Now, if I was to keep reading, it would go into more, and I don't want to go into more right now. I just want you to see who these men are that's with David. In 1 Samuel 22, verse 2, it says, "And everyone that was in distress, and everyone that was in debt, everyone that's got problems galore, everyone that's given out of source. People call stuff mental. It can be mentally dealing with you, but everything's not a mental problem. There's some real situation that you got to deal with. Everyone that was in stress, everyone that was in debt, you owe so much, and everyone that was discontented gathered themselves unto him, and he became captain over them, and there were with him about 400 men. These are the people that were already distressed, that were already in debt, that were already discontented, and now they've joined themselves to David, and now their wives are taken, their children are taken, and where they were was burnt down. But the man that they are with, he had experiences, learning how the Most High God works. The same man that said, I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. And the humble, the oppressed. That's what the humble is. The oppressed, those that are beat down, those that are emaciated. They shall hear thereof and be glad. They can hear what he's done for me. They can hear what he's done for our ancestors. They can hear. And when they see the narrative according to what God Most High is doing, they can hear and be blessed and not judge the Most High God as being wrong, as being unrighteous in his judgment. They can hear about the life of Joseph. They can hear thereof and be blessed. But here I am. I'm a witness, y'all. I'm a witness. I can tell you about how when the Samuel came. I can tell you how my daddy felt about me. I can tell you how my brothers felt about me. I can tell you how Saul felt about me. I can tell you how the Philistines felt about me. I can tell you what Goliath said. I can tell you I was chased. I can tell you these things being out there in the wilderness in caves, and I'm driven away from my land, and I'm in another city, and now they getting ready to kill me, so I'm acting crazy. I know what it's like to be discontent. I know what it's like to be distressed. I know what it's like to have debt. I know it feel like everything seems like it's crushing me. They join their self to him, and all of the things that David had gone through put him in the position where he says, Come, ye children, hearken unto me, and I will teach you the fear of Yah God when everything's going wrong, or when somebody's against you, when somebody's working against you, legal system, whatever it is. Even, look, even when it's your own doing, I'll teach you the fear of the Lord. Now let's go back and hear what he has to say before we close this message. Who is this David? How would you look at this Psalms after hearing some of what David went through? This is the Psalm of David when he changed his behavior before Abimelech, who drove him away and departed. Remember the reason he's there? Before Abimelech, or my father's king, that's the king, that Abimelech, Abba, father Melech, king. He says, I will bless the Lord at all times. I'm not going to disparage the Most High. Sometimes we don't do with our mouth, but our attitudes, we cut him off. We reject him. David said his praise, that which is due him, his praise, his honor, his tahila, praise, glory, song of praise, praiseworthiness. His hallelujah, his praise ye Yah shall continually be in my mouth, even when I don't see it. My soul shall make her boast in the Lord. My soul shall eulogize him, not look at my situation and say, he ain't worth nothing. Why has he let me go through this? Tell you what, I've gone through things like that, and I blame God. Why are you letting this happen to me? I've been trying to do right for you when I'm young, and why they doing all this to me? Why are you not stopping it? Why you not letting me orchestrate my own way of salvation, my own way of peace with no discomfort? I surely wouldn't have made me who I am because you want to get to what be something and you hadn't even marinated yet. My soul should make her boast not in myself, but in what I've heard, seen in the scriptures, and what I've experienced. It will make its boast in the Lord. The humble, those that look at the word here, are now wretched, emaciated, to cringe or be crouched, to be hunched, those that have gone through stuff. Wretched, suffering, to be oppressed or humiliated, those that are distressed, those that are in debt, those that are discontented, those that have gone through something, don't understand what Yah is making. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad, because I can tell them what happened with the bear. I can tell them what happened with the lion. I can tell them what happened with Saul and his army. I can tell them what happened to the Philistines, and I can tell them what happened with Goliath. I can tell him what happened even with me when I did my dirt, how he came through for me. And I can't tell you I didn't come through without scars, but I can tell you I don't do it no more. I don't mess with nobody else's wife no more, ever. I don't let somebody get away with raping my daughter because it's my son and do nothing about it. Because I received discipline. The humble there shall hear thereof and be glad. Oh, magnify the Lord with me, all 400 of you. You all got a chance to see when we got back and we got our wives and we got our children and they weren't hurt. Now you're beginning to see and you're beginning to understand who he is. You're learning the fear of your God. Oh, magnify the Lord with me. Those of us that's reading in 2026, magnify the Lord with me. Lift his name up. Show him great and worthy. And let us exalt his name together. When these things were going through, instead of running from him, I sought the Lord. I sought Yahweh. And he heard me. And he delivered me from all of my fears. He saved me. He pulled me out of my fears, whether it was the ones that I was having in my mind or the ones where the people were doing stuff to me. He saved me. It never got to be as bad as they thought that it was, and when it did, it didn't destroy me. He delivered me from all my fears that wasn't the fear of him, the fear of circumstances, situations in this short life. They looked unto him and were lightened. When you look at that word here,
Nahar.
nahar, to shine or be radiant. That's why you'll see in different translations, like the LEB Bible says they look to him were radiant. On the Legacy Standard Bible, they looked unto him and were radiant. They looked unto him and they began to glow. And their faces were not ashamed. They were not let down. This poor man cried. Remember, it said, "The humble shall hear thereof and be blessed." Look at the word here when they talk about poor man,
Ani.
without property, wretched, needy. Let's look from the root of the word here. The root word is to be emaciated, to be cringed, to be crouched, hunched, suffering, oppressed, to be humiliated. If you notice the same kind of thing, the one that had been brought down by situations or by others, that the Most High is using to put you in a position that you can say, "Come, children, I'm going to teach you the fear of the Lord." This poor man cried, and Yah heard him and saved him. Now, this is the cool word. Listen to this word here.
Yud Shin Ein.
That Yushin, I know those are the Hebrew word, but here, when you look at the manuscript, Hosi, that's the name like Hosea. So we get the word like Yahshua. Yahshua. He was saved, he received help, and became victorious. Yah saved him out of all of his troubles. Then he says, the angel of Yah encampeth round about them that fear him to deliver them. I'm telling you what I know, David is saying. I know that there are times that I was delivered. And it wasn't just me. Yah had a messenger that was in my midst. He had an angel that delivered me. One time he said he made my feet like deer feet. In other words, I'm able to stand when I fight and I don't fall, no matter what's going on. Oh, I hear does a lot of exploits, but he just says he encamps round about them that fear him. And that's hard to do, is to think about how powerful Yah God is, and the things that he can do. And it's easy sometimes to forget about the fear of him and think about the fear of our situations, how we feel, instead of just trusting him so that we don't have to be discontent, discouraged, out of sorts. He delivers them. Then David says, "Oh, taste and see." Who want to taste and see mistreatment? Who want to taste and see discouragement? Discontentment. Debt. Somebody say you don't spend so much you won't have debt. Well, what about when something happened that you don't have control over and you're still responsible? David said, "Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good." When we're going through something, whether it's brought on you to make you grow, or whether it's brought on you because you've done something to make you grow in the right way when you're growing the wrong way, when he's pruning off some mess in you. Oh, taste and see. Taste. Taste. Let your mind go back to Yah. Let your mind go back and ingest his word. Let your mind go back and ingest who he is as the spirit being of all spirit beings that can rule and reign in your life and outside of your life to your good. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Go back and look at stuff that you've gone through and see how you got over and you shouldn't have, when governments were against you, when the legal system was against you, when your own self was against you. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good, and blessed is the man that trusteth in him and don't see him as unrighteous. Don't see him as unfair. See him as building you up and so he can give you an inheritance among them that are sanctified. Oh, fear Yahweh, you his saints. For there is no lack, there is no want to them that fear him. Young, strong lions do lack and suffer hunger. How many lions you think grow to be just old and die? Their whole life is filled with struggle, hunting for food, being hunted, living out there, insects and in the cold. Their young lions do lack and suffer hunger, but they that seek Yahweh shall not want, shall not be in lack of any good thing. And often when we feel like things ain't going right or the way we see, We think we're lacking. We are lacking in one sense. We don't have it. But the good thing is what he's trying to give us. They that seek the Lord shall not want any good thing. Come, ye children, and hearken unto me. And I, a person that has experience, will teach you the fear of Yahweh. Why do we often pretend that we don't judge Yah God? We're scared that if we say it, he'll know it. We're scared that if we admit it to ourselves, something worse will happen. The real question is, do you think that he doesn't know that we judge him as unrighteous by our actions? Turn against him, go into despair, go find other means to get what we want, sometimes get another religion, sometimes apostatize. He knows the remedy for that is this: bless the Lord at all times, and let his praise continually be in your mouth. And when you honestly can't do that, keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything disparaging about the Most High God. You go back and you look and you tell him, you work with him that I don't understand. I need you. I need your help. One man said to the Messiah, I believe, but help thou my unbelief. Have we been guilty? Have we been guilty of thinking that the Lord has not done us right, done us unrighteously? Have we ever been guilty of pretending that we don't judge God as unfaithful? Many times the wicked would just come out and say he's harsh, he's not fair, I don't believe in him. And then they'll go believe in something else just as wicked or worse. Some people say, I don't believe in God and I believe in evolution. Do you know how much murder and mayhem has to take place for evolution to be true? But I'm not even going to go into that. Let's magnify his name together. Let's trust in him and fear him so that we will be able to teach others. And when it comes, let's have our mindset. Paul told the people in Colossae chapter 3 and 1, if you then be risen with Christ, where he sits on the right hand of the throne of God, set your affections on things above and not on things of the earth. With that, I close this class. I close this class right now. No more teaching. I've said what I had to say. Dealing with that passage. If it wouldn't have been a fit to anybody else, it was very thought provoking to me as it's been the last few days. It's hard sometimes to do that when we don't see. And it's easy to have fear of other things. Don't always have to be an animal or Philistine. It doesn't have to be the government. It can just be the wrong thought in your head. With that, if there's any comments that's going to be made, let them be made now.
It was good.
Yes, sir.
Um, very true. And saying it is one thing and going through it is another. And I don't have a lot. I just soaking it in. A few verses did come to my mind. One of them, and I'm like, I don't want to just quote scriptures. I mean, that can be good, but I think it was Peter said, "Think it not strange the fiery trials which are to try you," and he went through a lot too. Um,
Yes.
to think about it, but and I'm thinking more of the fire.
Mm.
Uh, that's that's not something that sounds like fun. It sounds painful, and that's just one word. It sounds is unbearable a word? I don't know if that's a word. Unbearable?
Unbearable. Okay.
Yeah, unbearable. But he if that last, I guess, well, there used to be an expression. I don't know if many people say it, be at the wit's end, or when you're at that last uh bit of hope. That's that's when we need to really hold on. Um, I mean, we always need to hold on, but we of certainty need to hold on. Um, it was very good, and no, we have to hold on. Yeah, he's not unaware. He hasn't lost any power, and he certainly knows how to remedy it. I'll say this: you was talking about how David were remembered, and the scripture recall demands that we remember.
Yes.
It demands it, and you said something like of even a very thought. That is very true. To watch a thought, because doctrines come from thoughts, laws come from thoughts, and wicked conduct comes from thoughts, and those thoughts, uh, you cast them down, as Corinthians say. There'll be some wicked doctrines, seductive. It was very good, um, thought provoking and encouraging at the same time. So
I appreciate you joining me, and yeah, it's been going on. It's been going on in my mind, just thinking about really it. I mean, that's a volitional thing that continually, continually, no matter what. Now, I mean, even if you think about the Messiah, you're gonna have the same thing, even worse, and without him having to be corrected for something he didn't do,
hmm
but being brutalized, castigated, whipped, and cut off for something what we did. So, yeah, your Uncle Roy asked me that, okay? And for
yeah,
some, and for some reason, when he asked me that, yeah, I thought of an answer, but then for some reason in my mind, I started thinking about look at this person who's saying this and what he's going, and it's telling you exactly in the prescript what was going on. Remember one time David was saying, do you remember one time David said, and you banished me from the land, from the holy land, the land of the Lord, you from his people and from his presence with your
hmm
mess. How hurtful that was. So anyway.
he will visit us in some people, I guess they call it the midnight hour. And some of what you said today, I was talking to somebody about several things that you said was just is really interesting. But Elijah, he's hiding,
Mm,
and the
so
Lord saw him doing all that running, and he saw his doubt, he saw his tiredness, and he even fed him and talked to him like, "What you doing?"
why
Eat
you
it,
over here?
eat this, be replenished, and get up. he's faithful. He has never, ever, ever been wrong. And Isaiah say, if he slept, I think it's in Isaiah. If he was, he wouldn't tell you, wouldn't know it. He wouldn't tell you. I
If
forget
he was
exactly.
hungry,
Yeah, like so as a way just to think it unfathomable and that you would know, but he doesn't need that. So it was very very encouraging, and yeah, so we got to press on.
all right.
He will expend us of ourselves because I know me, I'll be thinking that I could be doing stuff, and he'd be like, okay, 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 you through? Are you through yet? I'm like, darn, are you through yet? Then we surrender, and he'll take care of stuff. I mean, sometimes other factors, but it's not on him, not on him like that. So good work.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody else have a comment? Father, thank you for your word and your instruction. Thank you for the pattern that you set with David so we can hear the mindset that allowed him to do the exploits that he did and to see a foretaste of the mindset of your son and to understand the mindset we're supposed to have if we really represent his body in the earth. With that, I say good night and thank you all for joining.
Yes, sir. Good night.
All
Love
right,
y'all.
we love you too.